Hey everyone, and welcome back to Horror Movies for Life YouTube channel, and welcome to this 1982 horror movie review video as part of my ongoing series. So the movie we're going to take a look at today is a good one. First time watch for me, but I have the Scream Factory Blu-ray edition of it, and I'm glad I do. And that movie is from 1982, of course, The Entity with Barbara Hershey. And this is a great release. I haven't watched all the special features, but it's got interviews. You've got an interview with actors Barbara Hershey and David Labisa, composer Charles Bernstein, and editor Frank. So all kinds of audio commentary by Daniel Kramer, author. Uh, yeah, there's a lot going on here in the special features. So it looks like it's a good addition. But yeah, let's talk about The Entity from 1982. This is a movie I've had in my collection for a while and been looking forward to watching. So let's just go ahead and get into it. So, The Entity is a 1982 American supernatural horror film directed by Sidney L. Furie, and the film follows a single mother in Los Angeles who is raped and tormented by an invisible poltergeist like entity in her home. It was adapted for the screen by Frank de Felletta from the 1978 novel of the same name, which was based on the 1974 case of Doris Bither, a woman who claimed to have been repeatedly sexually assaulted by an invisible assailant and who underwent observation by doctoral students at the University of California, Los Angeles. So the movie opens one night. A single mother, Carla Moran, is violently, you know, R in her Los Angeles bungalow by an invisible assailant. A subsequent episode of poltergeist activity causes her to flee with her children to the home of her best friend, Cindy Nash. They return to Carla's home, and the following day, Carla is nearly killed when her car mysteriously goes out of control in traffic. Urged by urged by Cindy to see a psychiatrist, Carla meets Dr. Snyderman and tentatively agrees to undergo therapy. A subsequent attack in her bathroom leaves bite marks and bruises, which Carla shows Dr. Snyderman, who believes they are self inflicted despite being in places impossible for her to reach. Snyderman drives Carla home and meets her children. She explains to him that she suffered a variety of traumas in her childhood and adolescence, including an S molestation, teenage pregnancy, and the violent death of her husband. Dr. Snyderman believes her apparent paranormal experiences are delusions resulting from her past psychological trauma, but agrees to keep an open mind at her request. Shortly after Snyderman leaves, Carla is attacked again, this time in front of her children. Her son tries to intervene, but he is hit by electrical discharges and his wrist is broken. So yeah, that's the setup, the premise, the beginning of The Entity from 1982. As far as the cast goes, of course, we have Barbara Hershey as Carla Moran, Ron Silver as Dr. Phil Snyderman, uh, David Labiosa, Labiosa, Labiosa as Billy Moran, George Coe is Dr. Weber, Margaret Bly is Cindy Nash, and Jacqueline Brooks is Dr. Elizabeth Cooley. So that's the setup, the premise, and the cast for the 1982 supernatural horror film, The Entity. And I have to say, I really enjoyed this movie. It's actually a little bit underrated, I would say, especially for like a not so much a it's kind of a poltergeist movie, but it's the supernatural entity that has a specific reason. Um, it's not there to haunt, it's there to take, basically. It's there to scare in a very violent and uh what's the word I'm looking for? Brutal way, obviously, a very violating way. That's the word I'm looking for this woman played by Barbara Hershey. So I think it's a very effective supernatural entity kind of movie. So let's just go ahead and get into what I liked about The Entity. And you got to start, of course, with Barbara Hershey's performance. I've been hearing for years that this is one of the movies she was known for, and for good reason after watching it. Her performance is absolutely amazing. She really carries the movie as this character in a very terrifying and convincing way. And frankly, without casting the right person, in this case, Barbara Hershey, for this role, this story doesn't work. It's not nearly as effective. It was a very emotionally grounded performance that has a great character arc that Barbara Hershey's on board for every step of it. So definitely a high shelf performance here by Barbara Hershey in this movie, and it really sells the movie. The other thing that I think is really helps sell the story in the movie is the dramatic musical and score that this movie has. It's very effective. It's very creepy and it gets under your skin because it's this very loud. Whenever the entity attacks, it's very loud, like booming noise. It's just constant, and you can't get away from it. It really, as a viewer, I mean, it's almost as it almost bugs you as much as it does her in the movie. And I thought that was really smart. The musical choices made here, like I said, it really helps play the story out on screen in a dramatic and creepy way, and I found it to be very effective. Um, but yeah, just a very like drums is the just like constant drum beating sort of sound that they use whenever the entity attacks, and very dramatic and very effective in a very creepy way. I have to say the pacing's really good. Now this movie is an hour and 25 minutes, or I should say 125 minutes, which means it's 2 hours and 5 minutes. So on the surface, you'd look at that and say, wow, that's a long time for a horror movie. But the way the movie's structured, the pacing of it, the directing, it all works. They do a really good job. I was never bored watching this movie. I didn't feel like it was over 2 hours, which is always a good thing. But yeah, the pacing's really good. There's attacks throughout the movie that starts 10 minutes in, right through the end. The first attacks within, like I said, 10 minutes within the movie. You get kind of an opening montage of credits, and we kind of see who Barbara Hershey's character is. Uh, she goes to this typing class. She comes home. She's got three kids, two younger kids, and an adult teenage son. And then right away, as soon as she goes to lay down, or she's like at her vanity in her bedroom, all of a sudden the attack starts the first one. And I don't even think it's 10 minutes into the movie. So you don't have to wait long to get the horror aspect in this movie. So the pacing's really good. I like the way the whole movie's structured, and don't let that hour and the 2 hour and 5 minute scare you off here. Um, the effects I thought were good, even like this blue lightning that you get, as good as it can be for the early '80s. I thought it was good. I thought it was effective. It definitely comes into play in certain attacks, especially as the movie goes on. I thought the directing was good by Sidney J. Fury. Um, just the way they focus the camera angles and the cinematography, but the way they focus on certain things, from certain angles, I felt to be very effective, and the directing has a lot to do with that. And the overall structure of the movies I talked about was really solid. I also think this is a very well written movie. Now, obviously, they're adapting it from this 1978 novel, um, but they adapt it really well. And what I like about it is the characters, especially our main character, is very well written with good dialogue and a lot of backstory that really flows into this movie to the mystery part of it, where you're not quite sure, like the first 45 minutes, hour, exactly if this is all in her head as they try to go down that path with Snyderman's character, Dr. Snyderman, played by Ron Silver, or if she really is being attacked by an entity. They do a really good job of setting that up. We're not quite sure because she does have a lot of baggage, a lot of trauma from her past, a lot of backstory. Um, but what I really like about her character, even more than that, and that's all well written and well acted, of course, as I mentioned earlier, but she has a really nice character arc where obviously she's very scared when this is starting, but you never feel like she's completely helpless. She's a fairly strong female character here, and as the movie goes on, she gets stronger and stronger. And is she's going to stand up to this by the end of the movie. She's not going to keep running or being scared. And it's not really anybody else that I mean, she gets help from people that support her, her best friend, and ultimately Snyderman. But she's got her kids too, which is another vulnerability, of course. I just thought everything was just written and put together very well. Great character background, backstory, development, writing, and art, character art. That's what she has. So does Snyderman's character to a large degree because he's a non-believer for most of the movie until he has no choice because he sees it and he has to be a believer. But yeah, Barbara Hershey's character's arc character arc in this movie is very good, and it was easy to feel sympathy for her, but not be annoyed by how helpless she was because she never really was. She acted like most people, very believable, and that's very scared at the beginning. But she's got kids, she's got vulnerabilities, and ultimately, she's just not going to put up with this shit anymore, basically. And that was really good to see. So I really enjoyed that. I thought the movie was very well done in terms of the adaptation from the novel and kind of based on the true story, at least what was reported. So yeah, that's those are the things that I really like about the entity. Also, I would have to say the acting overall is pretty good. The writing overall is pretty good. The cinematography and the camera work I already mentioned. Um, I like the ending too. It's kind of a dark ending. It's not a happy ending necessarily, but an effective ending. I feel like the movie um, it doesn't have like a lot of peaks and valleys. It's pretty steady. It's a pretty steady, effective 3 act movie. And yeah, I just I really enjoyed the entity. As far as cons go, to be honest with you, I don't really have many. Just more of a warning. It is a 2 hour and 5 minute movie, so just kind of know that going in. There is more of a time commitment that a lot of people probably like with their horror movies, but stick with it. It's well worth it. There aren't any kills or gore. This isn't that kind of movie. It's more of a slow burn horror mystery movie that's not quite as visceral or in your face horror. Well, actually, I'm not sure that's a correct interpretation. Um, it's kind of a slow burn, but not really, because like I said, there's an attack right away, and they really get into it without making you wait. It is a horror mystery, and it isn't as visceral as like the, axe chops or knife stabs or anything like that. That's kind of what I was getting at with it not being like it's not a killing movie with visceral. It's a supernatural movie, but it is kind of in your face at times, especially given Barbara Hershey's not only her performance, but also the effects they're used. Like when she's laid out on the bed fully naked, and you see it all at one scene towards like the end of the film. And then you can kind of see something pressing on her nipples and her breasts and stuff. And it's very creepy, but very effective with the effects that they used as well. So, um, yeah, it is visceral in that regard, just not in the regard of like a slasher or a blood and guts killing movie. Um, and the only other con I could think of, again, it's not really a con, but it's this probably isn't a movie that I'm going to rewatch all that often, just because of the subject matter that's involved. Although that's the other pro that I forgot to mention. They do a really good job with the subject matter here. They don't overly focus on it. They do show nudity, but they don't show like the continued visceral in your face um aspect to it. They do it. I don't want to say they do it tastefully, but you don't have to worry about being. It's not overly graphic where they focus on it for a long period of time. It's kind of done well, where it's more of what you don't see. But Barbara Hershey's reactions and acting, as well as the music, you don't need to see anything. That those things make it. That they make what's going on very creepy, gets under your skin, very unnerving. So, yeah, I really can't find that many cons with this movie, to be honest with you. I really like the enemy. I'm going to give this movie an 8.5 out of 10. Definitely one of the better movies I've seen so far from 1982 as far as a horror movie goes. So 8.5 out of 10 for the entity. I'm definitely excited to watch the special features as part of this Scream Factory Blu-ray. But go ahead and comment down below if you guys have seen the entity from 1982. I know there's a regular DVD version that came out before the Scream Factory version. I forget who put it out, but it is available. But yeah, comment down below your thoughts on this movie if you've seen it. Please like this video, hit the little notification bell, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. It would really help me out for the future of my channel and the content on my channel. But yeah, with that being said, I hope you're enjoying this overall 1982 horror movie review. Part of the overall 80s franchise or 80s series. Check out my new shirt that I got over the weekend. I got a Saw shirt that I added to my collection here that I'm wearing, so I wanted to show that off. But yeah, with all that being said, thank you for watching. Hope you're doing well, and as always, stay scared. Bye.